Rogers.
After a day off for us on PuckTime, we are back with a loaded slate. Thursday night, NHL, Andrew, Carmine, and Buster with you to break down a handful of games. We've got some props, sides, totals, best bets, and some great promotional specials for you guys as well. Carm, the NHL schedule makers, doing what they do best. They know how to stack up the Tuesdays, the Thursdays, the Saturdays, but not really showing much love this week to the Wednesdays and the Fridays. So the good news is for today, however, a bunch of games for us to break down. How are you, Carm? How was your night last night? And what games do you choose for us today?
You got a day off. I worked yesterday, Andrew, but it's nice that you got the day off. Yeah, I got some good
Did you do
games for you,
PuckTime?
brother. And
You got a PuckTime?
well, I
You do
recorded
PuckTime without
free
me?
play video on the. I recorded a free play
Oh,
video on the
yeah,
Rangers.
yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because they got a lot of comments on it, and I always love the comments on these videos. But the Rangers get the job done. When a team is struggling, they just need to face a team that's even worse than them, and that's the Buffalo Sabres. But you could have said the same thing about the Chicago Blackhawks, and we saw what happened there. At the end of the day, Rangers got the money. That's all that really matters. We're going to talk LA Kings, New Jersey Devils, Vegas Golden Knights, Winnipeg Jets. You're going to have your prop program for us and some winners for us. We're going to finish it off with the Edmonton Oilers and the Minnesota Wild. A few show best bets along the way, and hopefully send you guys into Friday and Saturday with some winners. The 6 and 60. I'm going to do an independent video, solo video on Friday for the 6 and 60, and I'll post it on these on social media. So follow me either on Instagram or follow me on the X Twitter at Carmine Bianco WT, and hopefully it'll be up on the WagerTalk YouTube channel as well too. But with that said, it is the Devils and the Kings tonight. Minus 150 on New Jersey, plus 130 on the LA Kings, who are playing extremely well. No confirmed goalies here, but it looks like it's going to be Mark Strum and big save Dave Riddick as we send it to Buster. Welcome to the show, Buster. How are you playing this game?
Thank you, Carmine. I love when you always say big save Dave. Yeah, I'll tell you, the Kings are looking really good. They've won 6 in a row, and they're playing some great defensive hockey here, allowing only 8 goals in 6 games. That's pretty impressive. They face this Devils club that, they lost the last game and totally dominated that Leafs club. But the last 2 games, they've scored 1 goal in 2 games for a very high-scoring Devils club usually. So that's a little tough for New Jersey if you're going to take him at 150, that's for sure. I really thought, like I said, I thought the Devils played very well. But how can I go against a Kings club that's won 6 in a row? You can say they're going to regress, but these two teams always play tough against each other. I really do not want to stand in front of this LA team, even though all the money is coming in on New Jersey. I believe last night when I was doing my studying, it was about 140. Now it's up to 150. So New Jersey money's coming in. I really want no part of the side here, so I'm going to pass on the side. As for the total, I do lean, believe it or not, to the under. Because like I just mentioned, LA has been like a defensive juggernaut these last 6 games. It's been incredible. And New Jersey's having trouble scoring, even though I think they had like 40 shots against the Leafs. They outshot them 15-1 or 16-1 in that first period. But sometimes if you can't score, it kind of gets contagious. So I would lean to the under here. But what I kind of do like a little bit more than anything, as far as the under, the reason why I don't bet it under is because I told myself last year, never, ever, ever bet another 5.5 game under in this NHL, especially the way they pull their goalies and everything else that happens. And these two clubs, the last 4 games have gone 3 overs, 1 under. My play here is going to be on the Devils for the first period on the money line. It's minus 130, 135. I like that play only because I believe New Jersey will come out again with purpose like they did against the Leafs. LA's on their second game on the road trip. They are feeling pretty good about themselves, winning 6 in a row. Like I say, I'm not trusting this New Jersey team to win this game at all. I do like them for the first period, and that's the play that we'll make here, guys.
Right, Buster. It's a good thing you didn't go under 5.5 because I was gonna reply with, "We're going mano a mano here," because I like the over in this game, and I know it's hard to you look at this game and you look at these teams and you think, do I want to take the over? You're not going to see New Jersey 5.5s very often, and they're off two very tough games in which they lose 4-0 at home to the Colorado Avalanche. They lose 2-1 in OT to the Toronto Maple Leafs. But you have to. I'm looking at their analytic numbers, and I posted some of this information on WagerTalk's free picks section. If you go there and you'll see a complete write down on this game. The New Jersey Devils are creating chances. All you can ask for from a team is to create chances, and eventually those goals are going to go in. In their last 4 games, they've scored 9 goals, but they've created an XG of 15.5 goals per game. They're creating the chances. They're just not going in. But with a team with this much talent on that team, they eventually do go in. And I get the LA Kings are playing extremely well right now. I took the Kings in their last game, and it was a very good defensive effort for them. But they've played a couple games now, the Kings, against teams that can't score goals. And now they're getting the New Jersey Devils off back-to-back losses at home where they've only scored 1 goal. I think we see some goals tonight. 5.5 is the play for me in this one, over the total of 5.5. Andrew, before I send it back to you, I mentioned yesterday I did a free play video on the Rangers and the comments in it. I want to send best wishes out to Coach Rich, who is always in our comment section. He actually commented that he was going in for surgery and watching the video. I could just see him being wheeled into the emergency room, and he's watching it on his phone. Coach, if you're watching free play videos, God bless you. But take care of yourself first. Hopefully, it is a quick recovery for you, my friend. We look forward to seeing you back in the comment section once again. Andrew, what are your thoughts, Kings and Devils?
Great stuff, Carm. Very, very well said. Definitely wishing him all the best. And for me in this game, I definitely would say it's a little bit contrarian here, going against the hot hand with the LA Kings. But I'm not even going to go against them in the sense of taking the money line here. What I'm going to do is, instead of taking the team total over for the favorite, which is something I've done quite frequently this season, I'm going to actually take the team total under 2.5 for the dog. And now I get it. The LA Kings have hit the over 2.5 goals in several straight games at this point. But I love the fact the Devils are at home. I love them getting the last change, them getting the opportunity to get the matchups that they prefer. Because I truly do believe the Los Angeles Kings are an extremely different team at home versus on the road. And whether it shows on the results or not, you can see it with the matchups and the way things work out well for them in that way. And when I look at this Devils team, as you guys talked about there, I mean, this is a weird thing because the Maple Leafs, what they did to the Devils is what usually is happening to them. Because the Devils completely outplay the Maple Leafs. 110% outplayed them. The expected goals, all the analytical stats, all the eye tests would tell you. The power play went 0 for 4 for the New Jersey Devils. But I think sometimes in a game like that, you're going to come back and put together a solid defensive effort of your own. They're desperate right now. As you guys mentioned, they haven't been scoring. If you haven't been scoring very much, you need to go back to defense, get good goaltending, protect your end of the ice. So Typically, this is a spot where you guys find me looking towards the team total over for the favorite, but this is a spot where I'm hoping for a strong defensive effort out of the New Jersey Devils. I'm going to take the team total under 2.5 here for the LA Kings at -115. It's kind of a better way for me to get a good price on the Devils to win tonight here. Of course, you can look towards regulation. That first period number isn't too bad, as Buster mentioned, but I'm hoping for a rock-solid defensive performance from the New Jersey Devils here in this one. We'll look towards team total under for the LA Kings. And we got a jam-packed crew here. Live chat right now, right here on PuckTime. Appreciate all of you guys. Sorry about yesterday, no PuckTime, guys, but not that many games. So we're going to do PuckTime. We have a handful of games to choose from because, of course, we got single daily videos posted to WagerTalk. Carmine did one yesterday, but, of course, all of our best bets and our picks are found at WagerTalk. Buster, Carmine, and myself, all of our favorite plays. And we have a ton of deals going on at the website right now. You guys can get a great deal on 7 days. You're going to get a couple days for free, but we also have that great 30-day deal going right now at wagertalk.com. So many great advantages and packages that you guys can look at right now to profit off of and to save. So as much as we tell you about what we have going each day in the NHL, in college football, in the NFL, you're better off buying a 3-day, 7-day, or 30-day package right now. And to me, that's the best way to go. All right, the next one Carm picked for us is a really good game here. We've got the Winnipeg Jets going head-to-head with the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, guys, when I look at this game in particular, I want to look at a little bit of how much of a up and down wave it's currently been for this Winnipeg Jets team. And thankfully for them, they had a really strong start to their season because things certainly did start to fall off for them a little bit. Things did start to kind of go the other way. But the way I look at it is this. When you're having a rough go, you lose a game 4-1 against the Blues, you win a couple games again, then you lose 4-1 against the Columbus Blue Jackets. What better way to announce to the whole league that we're out of our funk, we're back and ready to go on a big run, guys, than when you win a game 8-1. And that's what they did. They beat the Boston Bruins. They beat the wheels off them. Jeremy Swayman, the craziest part, was not pulled in that game. They kept him in the whole game, 8-1 for the Winnipeg Jets. Now, here's the kicker. The Vegas Golden Knights have not played a game since last Friday. This team should be rested. This team should be ready to go here. They've been playing some pretty good hockey themselves. But the way I look at it is this. Everyone's talked about Winnipeg and how strong of a team they've been this year. We know Connor Hellebuck and their goaltending is very strong, but they've actually been somewhat of a sneaky over team this season, and that's where I'm going. I'm going over 6, Vegas and Winnipeg. I expect goals here. I expect both teams to contribute to the total in this game. I would lean towards the Winnipeg team total, but with how rested Vegas is, I do think they're going to contribute to the scoring as well. So we'll just go ahead and take the over 6 and let them decide which team helps us get over this number. Buster, what are your thoughts on this matchup here? Vegas and Winnipeg, two of the top teams in the West that are always fun to watch go head-to-head, but obviously a very well-rested Vegas team coming into this game.
Yes, Andrew, this will be one of the games on one of my 3 TVs for tonight for sure. I actually circled this game to bet the Jets in this spot as they got beat on November 29th. They lost 4-3 in Vegas. Truly thought they deserved a better fate in that game. And this will be a smaller play for us only because Vegas owns this Winnipeg Jets club. They have won 9 in the last 10. Kind of like I say, I thought Winnipeg deserved to win that last game. And you know what? Maybe the whole Vegas thing is in their head. They just have a hard time beating them. But now they're home. And at home, Winnipeg is 10-3. They play very good hockey. You just mentioned the beatdown they laid on the Bruins at their last home game. And they do have that kind of instant revenge because it was November 29th when they lost to this Vegas club. You have mentioned how Vegas hasn't played since Friday. That you can look at that both a couple of ways. Sometimes teams come out and they look fantastic. Some teams they'll come out and look a little rusty because that's a long time between games, especially when you're a couple months into the schedule. So you can look at that either way. I'm hoping there's a little bit of rust instead of for Vegas here. Maybe Winnipeg could jump out to a quick lead because once they get that lead on a team, they're pretty tough to beat. As you said, Vegas and Winnipeg both have been playing some decent hockey. They both won 3 of the last 4 games. But what I also like, what happened in that game on the 29th, Comrie played in net for Winnipeg. As you said, we'll see Hollybrook tonight for Winnipeg. That's a big difference for us in this game. As you always talk about, Andrew, last change, big difference for us in this game tonight. We do like the Winnipeg Jets here to win this one. But as always, I will talk a bit about the total. You have said that you're going to bet it over. Well, I'll just give you a few trends here or spots. The total has gone over 8 of the last 10 games played between these clubs, and that includes the 4-3 game on the 29th. However, the reason why I stayed off the over, both of these clubs have gone 7-3 to the under in their last 10 games. Going to be a great game in Winnipeg tonight, and I'll be cheering for the Jets.
It's like I'm the guy who's got to step in and disagree with Andrew on this one. Andrew,
boy.
I like the under here. I like the under.
I'm glad
here.
you're staying away from me, Carmine.
If we get the top 2 goalies, which is Aiden Hill and Hellebuck, obviously it makes me feel a lot better about this play and taking the under 6 here. And you look at the Jets, their last 7 games at home, they've gone 5-2 to the under. The 2 games that went over aren't typical Winnipeg versus anybody type of games. They beat the Boston Bruins 8-1. They beat the Florida Panthers 6-3. Those aren't typical games that you're going to see from the Winnipeg Jets. The other games, the 4-1 type of games, the 3-0 type of games, the 1-0 type of games, the 2-1 type of games, those are the ones. In those 5 wins, they've allowed a total of 5 goals in those 5 wins at home, in going 5-2 to the under. So, or in those other 5 games, I should mention, they've gone 5 and. Andrew, I just don't see the goals in this game. Vegas, you talked about the rest. We talk about sometimes the rest and rust for a team. Are they in sync? Are they going to be in sync tonight? You need to be in sync against a team like the Winnipeg Jets when you're playing them because they play a good defensive structure. They get on you early, and if those passes aren't crisp, if you're not getting through the neutral zone against them, you're not getting pucks into the O-zone, and you're not spending a lot of O-zone time as well either. So, with that said, I'm staying off either side here because the price is they've priced this perfectly. Make Vegas a very small dog at plus 105. And you're not getting enough to take them in Winnipeg, where the Jets, as Buster mentioned, have been well this year. They've only lost 3 games. Once was to the Toronto Maple Leafs, who snapped their win streak, and then to the St. Louis Blues and Columbus. Probably the Columbus one is the most surprising ones, and those 2 stayed under the total as well too. 4-1 games with empty net goals in each game. So with that said, I like the under 6 here. I think it's the right bet. We'll see if it is at the end of the night, but the under 6 is my play here. And with that said, I'm going to take a break and send it to you, Andrew, for your prop program and some prop bet winners for us. And Andrew is using Don Buster's Wi-Fi. Somehow it's made it up to the Great White North.
Hey, my Wi-Fi's been good lately.
There we go.
If Andrew was, oh, there he is. If Andrew was here right now, he would say, I don't know, Carm. I kind of like the over, but you can take the under. Okay. Oh,
All
okay. He's
right,
back.
all right.
Okay,
That's
go ahead.
enough. That's enough. I just have 2 props for today, guys. Just 2 props for today. Before I get into the props, I just want to remind people about the 2 deals right now. We've got a deal for 1 week, and we've got a deal for 30 days the rest of the month at WagerTalk.com. So as much as we promote our daily packages, guys, be sure to take advantage of that great week special. You're going to get pretty much 10 days for the price of 7. You're going to get a free 3 days. It's going to be a really, really good run here. We got NFL, we got NBA, NHL, UFC. So make sure to join me over at WagerTalk.com. 10 days of action for just $99. 3 days for free. So 2 plays for today in the prop market. We've got Kevin Fiala from the Los Angeles Kings to go over 2.5 shots on goal. And look, he's a top guy for the LA Kings, and it seemed like he had a few bad games in a row. There was a lot of being publicized about him. The coach wasn't happy with him, guys. And all of a sudden now he had 4 straight games where he's flying over this shot count. You know, they're having success, which means their top players are having success. And I truly believe he'll continue to have that hot hand as far as his shot counts are concerned. Each team has the playmakers. Each team has the goal scorers and the shooters. Kevin Fiala definitely falls under the line of a shooter for the Los Angeles Kings. So we'll take him over 2.5 shots on goal. And then for the second one, and I know it's a busy slate, guys, but I decided to just pick 2 props for today. I'm going to channel my inner Andy Lang here, and we are going to prey on someone's downfall. We're going to bet on a guy to not have himself a good night, and that's Patrick Kane. Sir Patrick Kane from the Detroit Red Wings to not have a point, guys. 8 straight games for this guy. He's been out there doing cardio. He's out there for a Sunday morning skate. This is a guy that is not getting the job done. 0 goals, 0 assists, and he's averaging 17 minutes of ice time in his last 8 games. He just coming off an injury, right? Sure, he's going to get put in positions to succeed. And sure, we're jumping in a little bit late on this trend. But yesterday, I was doing some fantasy research, ads, drops. I mean, right now, if you have Patrick Kane on your fantasy team, he is absolutely crushing you. So right now, at a minus 130 price, until proven otherwise, we'll bet on Patty Kane to not get a point against the Philadelphia Flyers. We'll see if I'm too late jumping on this train, Carm. I look forward to clipping this if he ends up scoring a sweet goal tonight or not. But based on what I'm seeing, he's just out there doing cardio right now. He's not doing a hell of a lot for the Detroit Red Wings, and that's why their record is what it is. Back to you, Carm. Those are my 2 props for tonight.
Taking a guy to fail, Andrew. That's not very Christmassy of you, man. Canadians, we're supposed to be polite, you know, when you get into an accident and, oh, it was my fault. No, it was you. You know, come on, man. But I won't wear my Patrick Kane jersey tonight as I watch the hockey games, so not to mush you on that. But speaking of mushes, hey, Buster, what are your thoughts on the Minnesota Wild and the Edmonton Oilers? Plus 125 on the Wild, minus 145 on the Oilers. Total sits here at 6. God love you, Buster. What are your thoughts on this game?
You know, Carmine, I come on once a week and you choose violence right away. What's with that? Come on, brother. Like you said, it's Christmas. Anyways, my thoughts in this Wild game are that the Wild just come back after that long 3-game West road trip. Now, both these clubs are playing some great hockey. Both of them have now won 6 of their last 7 games. And the only loss for those Edmonton Oilers was that 1-0 game in Vegas where, again, to me, they deserve to beat that Vegas club. They outshot them 16-2 in that third period, outplayed them the whole game. They just could not score on Hill, and they lose 1-0. So for me, this side is a real tough handicap. I know now Edmonton's 135. Geez, I know everybody that line will probably go higher because people love betting Edmonton. But for me, can I go against a Minnesota club, which isn't a bad spot, but they have dominated this Edmonton club. They've beat them 8 of the last 10 games. They beat them fairly recently, November 21st, 5-3 in Edmonton. They beat them easy that night. So the spot's bad. That's why I'm not taking the dog here. And Edmonton's looking great. To me, this is a perfect reason when you go through your whole handicap and you have both sides of this thing, you see, there's maybe 14, 15 games tonight. This is a thing that we need to pass. And that's what we'll do here. I do like the over 6, even though these teams do trend under when they're playing. But when they get together, it's that old saying, if you bet horses, it's horses for courses here, because their last 9 games, they've went 6 overs, 1 loss, and 2 pushes to this number of 6. So I do like the over here. And another reason I like the over here is because with Minnesota coming off that long little bit of road trip, they might not be as defensive minded or, in this kind of spot for them. Also, both of these penalty kills are terrible. Minnesota, 26th in the NHL. Edmonton, 26th in the NHL. Minnesota, 29th. Got to believe you get a couple power play goals here. 6 is easy to get to. That gives you a push. Going to pass this side. Another game that's going to be on one of my 3 TVs. Give me the over 6.
Oh man, I feel like, and Buster, I'll kidding aside, man. I love you, buddy. It's funny because I watched an interview yesterday with Chaz Palminteri, if you remember Bronx Tale, and he talked about Eddie Mush and going to the funeral, and the family says that using him in the movie made his name, and because that word mush has now become folklore. And his funeral, they put his coffin into the car, into the hearse, and it got a flat tire. You want to talk about a mush? Imagine that. Even in his death, the man got a flat tire on his the day of his funeral. But with that said, I didn't choose violence this morning, but I like the under in this game. The Oilers, I think the Oilers are playing. If you've watched the Oilers the last 4 or 5 games, they're playing the same type of shutdown type defense that they've played that they played during that 16-game win streak. They're starting to play much better. I think they're a play-on team right now, and I think that's why the line is where it is right now. The Oilers have allowed the second fewest goals on the road this season in the Western Conference, 34 goals across 13 games on the road. And an equally good number is Minnesota at home, 28 goals allowed at home, which is the second fewest amount of goals allowed at home in the Western Conference this season. You're never going to see 5.5s in any game that the Edmonton Oilers are involved in, but this is one where, and you'd see them in Minnesota games. This is one in which I like the under in the game. I think the Oilers continue to play some very good defense. Minnesota and Gustafsson in goal, if he starts tonight, in which he should, are a very good team as well, too. That's why they lead the Western Conference at the moment. All signs to me point to the under, and that's where I'm going here. Andrew, give me under 6 in this one.
I mean, I can't blame you, especially with this Minnesota Wild team and some of the games that they've been involved in, especially at home. The consistency in their game style, it's been really, really impressive. And if you recall, Carm, a few weeks ago on the show, I shouted out, if you haven't got your future bets in yet on the Minnesota Wild, you might as well get them in. And, well, I mean, maybe it's too late. Maybe you want to wait for them to kind of take a step back at this point to try and get a better number again. But they're playing some really good hockey. If we're going to self-reflect for a minute, I have to tell you guys that I have been loving the team totals. You guys know I like them because of the good prices you get. But sometimes you got to call yourself out. And for me, on our show on Tuesday, I sat here and listed off all the recent wins the Edmonton Oilers had and how they scored 4 goals in pretty much all of their wins. What do they do against Tampa Bay? They win a 2-1 game. It drives me crazy. I mean, every game they were winning, they had to score 4 goals, and then they put up an absolute rare score of 2-1 on a team. I couldn't believe it. So that's the only worry I have here, Carm, is that It's not often you see back-to-back games involving the Edmonton Oilers that have a score line that goes under the posted total like that. And when I look at this game overall, I'm kind of tempted to look towards the Wild here. Like the plus 120 home dogs. Is this team just not being appreciated? Is this team not being respected for who they are? And I don't know how the Oilers are going to be able to deal with them defensively. This is a very well-structured team, and I think people are sleeping on this team, and I think this is kind of mispriced here. I do agree with you. The under is probably the play, but I also believe the under correlates with the Minnesota Wild. So I'm going to take a small stab at the home dog here to get the job done. It was a hard-fought but low-scoring victory last time out for the Oilers against Tampa. Now they're playing on the road in Minnesota, where Minnesota plays their best hockey. And if I want to talk about the last change all the time, like Buster said I do, this is the game it should matter the most in. Minnesota being at home, the way they get to choose their matchups against McDavid and Draisaitl and company, I feel like they're going to have success there. So, Carm, before we get to best bets, I mean, do you kind of agree with me, though, where I'm saying with the fact that, Minnesota and the under correlate, or do you think that Edmonton can beat Minnesota at their own game?
I think they can beat them at their own game. And it's only because, Andrew, last year we saw it. And I have to bring up last year because the Oilers had an absolutely abysmal start to the season, fired their coach. Let's not talk about there's at least 2 or 3 coaches that should be fired in the NHL this season, but it's not going to happen just yet. But they fired their coach, and they started playing so well, and then they went on that 16-game winning streak, and unfortunately, the break came at the wrong time for the Oilers. It was sandwiched in between. I think it was at the tail end of that win streak, but they were playing some very good defense in those games. You look at the Tampa Bay Lightning come to Edmonton. Edmonton beats them 2-1. I didn't expect to see a 2-1 game between Edmonton and Tampa Bay, but thus that's where the game was, and it never looked like it had a chance of ever going over. The St. Louis Blues, who have been playing extremely well, came since their coaching change, came to Edmonton. The Oilers beat them 4-2 as well too. The Columbus Blue Jackets, everyone's punching bag when they're on the road. That game was 6-3. That was the one over in that one. They play in Vegas, where there's a goal in the first period and nothing after that, 1-0. It's still a good defensive game by the Edmonton Oilers. They don't even allow an empty net goal in that game, and that was on the heels of beating Colorado in Colorado 4-1. So we're not talking about teams that don't have any scoring punch. Tampa Bay, we know, can score. Colorado Avalanche, we know we can score. Vegas Golden Knights can score, and only got 1 in those games. They allowed 3 goals across 3 games with teams that can score some goals, and they played some fantastic defense. We'll see what happens tonight. But I totally agree with you. Minnesota having the last change obviously benefits them in line matching. But that only makes me feel stronger about it, because they're going to get one of their better lines, checking lines against the McDavid, Draisaitl, or whatever line is out there. Line matching is important here. It's one of the reasons why I like the 6. And like I mentioned, you're never going to see 5.5s in Edmonton Oilers games, at least not yet that I can see. But we equate the Edmonton Oilers with a team that are always going to win 6-3, 6-4 games. That's not the Edmonton Oilers under Chris Knobloch right now. So it's a completely different thing with him. With that said, Buster, I'm going to go to you first. Let us know what you have up at WagerTalk, and give us a show free play.
Okay, thank you, Carmine. As Andrew had said earlier in the show, there's all kinds of great deals over at WagerTalk, so go over there, check those out. And one of those great deals that they have going is you buy a 7-day all-access pass for $99, and you get 3 days free. So go over our homepage at Don Buster and grab that deal. Of course, that is good for all 5% plays that happened in that 10-day period as well. So head on over to the site and check that out. Our show play for today is going to be on a game that we have not talked about, the Anaheim Ducks and Toronto Maple Leafs. And we're going to play the Toronto Maple Leafs for the first period on the puck line, and it's even money on the puck line for that first period. Anaheim comes here after getting beat by Ottawa last night, so they're in that back-to-back. And I have to believe Berube must be just pissed with this club in that performance in New Jersey. Yeah, I know they won. That's fine and dandy, but he's not going to care about that. He's going to care more about what they did in those first two periods of that game. Getting outshot 16-1 in the first period, that should never, ever happen to a team like Toronto, who's supposedly running for a Stanley Cup run, which I don't believe they are. But anyways, again, he's got to be really pissed off about that. I really believe that now Toronto will answer the bell right from the start. Get an Anaheim team that's a little leg weary after last night. They should grab an early lead in this one. So our play will be Toronto first period on the puck line at even money. Thanks again, guys, for having me on the show today. I actually also want to thank Brian Leonard for trading with me today. Much appreciated, Brian. And as always, guys, best of luck with all your plays today, and have a great day.
You too, Buster. Keep it going, man. Enjoy that sunshine, because I'm looking out at some rain and snow and all kinds of gray skies. So I'm jealous of you every time I see you, man. Keep living it up. Keep crushing it in the NHL. And guys, again, those great deals, take advantage. Head over to Buster's page. He does all kinds of sports, not just hockey, college football, NFL, you name it. Mr. Don Buster. For me, I'm going to actually stick in the exact same game as Buster for my best bet for the show. And I'm going to just rock with the over 6 Leafs and Ducks. And you guys know, a handful of weeks ago, I took the over Chicago Blackhawks, Maple Leafs. Lost that one, and since then, I've been riding the under train with these Maple Leaf games. And that's been the biggest improvement for them this season, is the unders. But I just love this spot here. I mean, the Maple Leafs, a hard-fought game for them against the New Jersey Devils, a game they probably should have lost, but they got great goaltending. They killed off 4 penalties. And sometimes when you have a game that you win that you probably don't deserve to win, I'm on the idea that unless you change a bunch of things from one game to the next, that will come back to haunt you, because you get a false sense of satisfaction that you deserve to win that game. And I don't think they did against the Devils. Now they have an Anaheim Ducks team, second half of a back-to-back. They lose in a shootout against the Montreal Canadiens. They took the train, not even a plane. They took a train from Montreal to Ottawa. They play in Ottawa. They lose 5-1. And now here they are against the best team potentially in the Atlantic Division with the Maple Leafs. This game should feature absolute chaos. I expect goals for both teams. And if you don't want to play the full game over, well, there's 2 options as far as the team totals. Ducks over 2.5 plus 160. Maple Leafs over 4.5 plus 125. 2 options, but for me, I like the full game over, Ducks and Leafs. And again, guys, get 10 days of action for $99 at WagerTalk. I've got plays for Thursday Night Football. We got plays in the NHL. I'm getting super excited. I got some plays locked in for the upcoming UFC card. The clients will be getting this afternoon. So I can't wait for this next week of plays and take advantage of a great, great deal and savings over at WagerTalk.com. Carm, close things out for us, brother. My apologies for running a little bit long there, but it's been a pretty good show so far. Wrap things up for us.
I've taken up most of the airtime, so you need not apologize, Andrew. But with you guys talking about the Leafs, and Buster talking about their will they have a cup run? I actually think, and I'm always hard on Toronto, living just north of Toronto and having to deal with Leaf fans. I'm always tough on them, but this season more than last year or the last couple of years, I feel that they have the possible cup run in them. And it's games like that one, Andrew, and you nailed it in talking about the game in New Jersey. The Leafs deserve to lose that game, but good teams find ways to win. Austin Matthews scoring in OT, and you can tell him pumping his fist after he scored that goal 4 or 5 times, how much that game meant to them, because they knew they got outplayed. It is how they make the adjustments moving forward, because they're not going to be happy about that game, despite the fact that they got the win. So we'll see if the Leafs make a cup run, but they're a better version of themselves than they were the last couple of years. Now, 3 plays up in the NHL tonight. I like these 3 plays. I posted them overnight because they weren't goalie dependent plays. So I was on these ones early. You can get those over at WagerTalk. As part of the 12 days of Christmas, or 12 days of Carmas, as you can see on the screen there, every day for the next 12 days, whether there's a PuckTime show or not, I will have a free play video up. And each day we'll have a different deal that expires at midnight. You can get $20 off a 3-day all access package, all my plays for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Or you can buy this package and schedule it to start on Friday, and have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, because I have a 5% play up in the NFL for Sunday. You can use that package as well too. Xmas2 is the coupon code. And tomorrow I'll have day 3 of the promo. So take advantage of that, guys. We're going to finish off this month strong, and especially these 12 days. My best bet, I'm going to go right back to the LA Kings, New Jersey Devils. I'm going to take the over 5.5 in the game, minus 120. I see it's steaming a little bit, minus 125, minus 130 in some places. I mentioned the New Jersey Devils, only 1 goal across their last 2 games at home, but their last 4 games, they've generated 15.5 expected goals in those games, while only scoring 9. Good teams generate chances, and eventually the puck starts to go into the net. I'm going to take that to happen tonight against the LA Kings team. Both teams get enough to get us over this total of 5.5. Guys, once again, we appreciate you guys tuning in each and every day. The chat was lively today. Some great information you guys are sharing with each other. And if you're watching this after it's been posted, we appreciate your comments. Hit that like button, the subscribe button as well to join the ever-growing community here at WagerTalk, with a ton of free play videos and shows with actionable info. For myself, Don Buster, Andrew McInnes, and our fantastic producer, Dan Alexander, this is Puck Time. We will see you on Monday.